Hey, what's up? It's Jacob from JD Mobile Detailing. We're going to be going through training on how to do a full interior detail. Before we get into this, we're going to go through our equipment, what we're going to be using, and kind of what each piece of equipment does. So to start with, we're going to be showing off our big equipment. It's nothing too crazy. We have a little shampooer. This is going to be used to be pulling out all your stains for cloth seats and for carpets and everything else like that. This is a very, very simple machine. You have a little tank on the back. Use this to put a little bit of the chemicals in here, fill the rest up with water. There's a little line. You fill it just about to right. It's kind of hard to see, but you fill up to right there with chemicals. You fill the rest with water. This is your dump tank, and you just pull the top off like this and you dump it out. Typically, we don't do a whole lot of very dirty cars. And so that little machine right there is more than enough to complete an entire car. The next piece of equipment that we're going to be using is our air compressor. This is a crucial tool to be using when you're detailing. Reason being is it's going to be helping you out with getting places that you can't reach and whatnot. You're going to be setting the PSI on this. It has a little gauge on the front of it. We have two different types. We have our rigid, we have our DeWalt, but they both have a gauge right here, and you set it to your PSI. Typically, we run these about 110, 120 PSI when we're using our Tornadors, and then you'll have your straight air attachments. Typically, I just use a Tornador for an entire car. Some people like to use just a straight air for most of the car. It really doesn't matter. Just figure out what works for you and use that. I like this one the most. I think it's the most utilable for blowing out carpets, for getting under seats, and for blowing plastics down. I honestly just think this is the best. Next piece of equipment. I have tons of different tips to put on the top of this, but honestly, this is the only one I use. I think it is more than enough to complete a car unless it's really dirty. If your cars are really dirty, straight up, I just take this off. I just use it to suck up the big stuff. But this is more than you need for getting down around the crevices, under seats. Great tool. Now that we are done with all of our big interior tools, so we've gone through all of our big interior tools, now we'll start going into our, now we'll go into our brushes and our little interior tools, and then we'll go into chemicals. So for drills, we have two brushes. We have drills, and we have Ryobi and Milwaukee. So this first brush, this is great for agitating carpets to get a deep vacuum. So I use this for when I'm going down and around seats when they're like pretty dirty. So on lots of your Toyotas, Hondas, and anything with that really crappy Velcro carpet, you'll just grab this and you'll turn it into your high speed mode, and it'll agitate the carpets, and it does a really good job of doing a deep clean. The other tool that you're going to have is you're going to be having your circle head brush. This is a soft bristle. This is good for cleaning very, very dirty plastics on the door entryway, and I use this for shampooing. So we'll spray down our chemical, then we go over it with this to agitate it, and then we use our shampooer, and it pulls out all the stains. Okay? Do not ever use any of the drills on leather seats. Never use drills on leather seats or door plastics or anything. The entryway plastics, the little trim piece on the bottom, it's okay to use it on there. And it's okay to use it on carpets. It's okay to use it on rubber mats. But seriously, anything that's soft, don't use it on. You don't want to ruin stuff. Now, as for brushes, okay, now for interior tools, these are your main tools. We'll have tons of spares, so you can go through and figure out what works best for you, but this is the essentials for your interior. This is like 90% of what we use. So the first thing, this is gonna be our little fine pick brush. As you can see, this one is well worn. We use this a lot. When things get this worn, I just go tell your manager, and they'll get new ones for you and your team. The second brush is gonna be our door brush. Our second brush is going to be our door brush. This is for covering large surface areas because it's hard to see, but it has all these little bristles on it. This is good for covering the majority of all your doors and your dash and your steering wheel and everything else. The next brush that we have is going to be your nylon brush. This is for doing like kind of crappy jobs. These aren't extremely nice, so you can just trash them. I use this for like really dirty cup holders or down in the doors and just kind of tight areas that are really, really dirty. So I use this nylon brush for. I don't use it that often, but some people do. Then you're gonna have your boar's hair brush. You're gonna be using this brush to be going down in all the crevices and the doors and the cup holders. So it's the same as the nylon, but this is for like cleaner cars. And the hairs are a little bit longer, so it can go in more cracks and crevice areas. Don't use any brushes or anything on anything that is shiny. So on this car, when we go start detailing it, I'll show you the shiny areas. There's just little plastic trim, screens, stuff like that. You don't use any sort of brush on those. The next tool, we only use these if it is absolutely necessary. This is our pick brushes. This is to like pick stuff out of cup holders and whatnot. You have to let the clients know before you use this because you have to ask them to make sure it's okay for you to pick it out because that means that is something in there is just too stuck to get out regularly. So you'll use this. Next thing, I know it doesn't look like it, but this is a dog hair removal brush. And this, well, technically it's a stone. This, you'll be using it very gently on carpets and you just push it on, drag it back, vacuum it up, and do it over and over again. And this will remove all the dog hair, leaving nothing there. With cloth seats, you got to be kind of gentle on these. But most of the time with cloth seats, you can just use your nylon glove. You'll be able to pull all of it off. Last thing is going to be your applicator pad. This is for putting, there's multiple of these in the box. And I'll show you in a minute, but we use rigid boxes to haul of our gear. This is good for applying leather conditioning, for applying plastic conditioning, and applying all that sort of stuff. Now, all of your boxes will be fitted all your boxes are going to be fitted with a few things. You're going to have your nylon gloves. This is just to help detailing. I'll throw one of these on when there's dog hair on cloth seats. This really helps with pulling out dog hair. All your boxes will have business cards in them, and this is just for our finishing touches. You'll throw this in a center console, and then you'll throw this in a center console, and then you put a couple mints in there. And all of our boxes have mints, and you just throw 2 of them in there with it. Another part of our finishing touches is going to be our paper bags. Before you go do a detail, you'll have these. Before you go start detailing anything, you'll have these paper bags to unload all their stuff into. So if there's jackets, if there's any sort of like trash or whatever, kind of sort it out. One's trash, one's stuff, and you can just swap them out. Not that big of a deal. And then the last piece of equipment that you're going to be having in the car is going to be your paper floor mats. You're just going to be laying down two of these in every single detail. It just makes the car look nice, helps it stay cleaner longer and whatnot. Okay. Now we have towels. We essentially have three main kinds of towels. You're going to be having your edgeless towels, and then you're going to be having your yellow towels, and you'll have your soft blue towels. The difference between the three is these edgeless towels. I use these for doing windows and for any kind of sensitive areas. So I'll do windows, screens, glossy areas. I'll put a little bit of glass cleaner on here, wipe those down. Next towel is going to be our fluffy towel. I use this for either doing like leather conditioning, and I help blend in the leather with this. And I also use it for plastic dressings. So after we do plastic dressings, I'll use this. And then the third towel is just gonna be our plain old yellow towels. This is for the dirty job stuff. So going around doing your door jams, wiping doors down after you clean them, sticking them in cup holders, you'll be using these towels. Okay. Now for chemicals. With most of these chemicals, I'll explain to you what they are and what they do. But for most of these chemicals, your managers are going to be telling you which is what the dilution ratio is. But most of everything is kind of iffy. Usually, about 90% of the time with our cleaners, you just fill it to this bottom ridge on the bottle and fill the rest up with water. That's usually the dilution ratio. But your manager will be explaining all that to you, showing you what chemicals do what and whatnot. So we'll just start off with our leather conditioner. This is in a bottle. It's kind of a thicker liquid, and you'll put this onto an applicator pad, rub into the leather, take over one of the blue fluffy towels on it, blend it in, make it look nice. Super simple to use. Next up, we'll be having our fabric protection. This, you just spray it on the carpet, rub it in, do another spray, move on. This is our liquid air freshener, and you just spray this under the seats, makes the car smell good. We'll be going through this when we start detailing the car. This is our glass cleaner. That's self-explanatory. We use it on your glasses, on the glossy trims, anything that has kind of a shine to it. That includes like your emblems, badges, door handles, all that. We'll be using glass cleaner to take away all smudges. You have your all-purpose cleaner. This one is not diluted yet, but we'll fill the rest up with water. This is, like it said, it's used to clean everything. So you use this on your leather seats. We use it on all your plastics. Don't use this on any screens or anything glossy. That's what glass cleaner is for. But we'll be using this on like your door jambs to do the first rinse, and then glass cleaner after to give the final rinse and whatnot. And then our last one, this is gonna be our plastic cleaner. It's like a light pink. It kind of sprays and more just spludges on there. But you're gonna spray this on and then put an applicator pad and dress it all over everything. Then go over with a finishing towel to rub it in. So we've now covered all of our equipment. Something I didn't mention, but all your boxes will have this. All of you will have a charging station. This for your drill. So when you get to your detail, you can plug in batteries if you need to, or you can take this home with you and charge batteries if you need to as well. Time to start detailing.